Hello, hello, what's going on, everybody? Long time, no stream. Let me go ahead and get this straightened out. Put this up a little bit more so we can see more what's happening. There we go. Boom. Oh, snap. All right, so we're going to be cleaning up some edges on some projects as well as throwing some oil on this one. So we're going to start with this one first. That's just going to be more time consuming. For this one, I'm using that pure neat's foot oil compound. Excuse me, the pure neat's foot oil, not the compound. Nothing against the compound. I just already had some of this. So here we go. Also, love this texture right here. And when it's dyed, it looks great also. I was partially tempted to antique this, and I still might, but I do want to darken it up with some oil first. I may not need to antique it once the oil is in there pretty well. Plus, antiquing it would take longer for the production process, which means a higher price, which means maybe somebody won't buy it. You know, economics wins overall. All right, that is going to be set to the side. Clean the hands up before I handle this other stuff. Some of the pieces that I did the other day. All right. Okay, yeah, that's true. That. So I've got a market today. I'm leaving in about 4.5 hours. Maybe just about 4 hours, honestly, at this point. Yeah, about 4 hours. And I'll set up. Should be good to go. Should be back home in time to catch any fireworks in the area. Also, I want to be back for my dog because, well, we all know dogs and fireworks don't really go all that well together. But where I'm taking him is not pet friendly. At least it didn't have that on the flyer. So I want to make sure I get back here before my dog suffers any ill effects of folks trying to set things off in the neighborhood. They did for New Year's, and I didn't have him at the time. He doesn't react very much to things like thunder though. Whenever we have any storms in the area, he doesn't freak out very much. It's the only reason why I feel comfortable being gone for so long during the day. Mm. Otherwise, I'd probably just be there for most of the time and then cut it short so I can be back here with him. And for anyone who's curious, the reason why I switched bevelers is because this white leather here is thicker than the rest of the leathers. that I used in this piece. With the exception of this one, I very specifically, you can see the thickness here. I skived this one to make it much thinner to cut down the bulk, but normally this piece was thicker, so wanted to have a nice bevel for this one, so switched to a thicker one there. Similar setup here, so I'm going to use this one for the back piece and this one, and then oh no, that one's a good thickness too. Should be able to use the same one for all three. Let's give it a shot. Hope I don't screw it up, and we're good. I am still not a fan of skiving around corners. Also, this is gator, so the properties of the skin are a little bit different than the cowhide pieces for the other ones. You probably saw that in this piece here. This is glazed. This just has Resilane on it. And after this is done, I'm going to do the edge paint, which is a time vampire in and of itself, but I'm going to do multiple at the same time, so I'm not just doing one then waiting, doing one then waiting. I'll have a bunch going at the same time. I don't want to get that thread, so I'm just going to go around that one there. Come on. Boom. So you can see the difference about how this one skives, not skives, but bevels, as opposed to the gator piece on the front. Just don't have the same properties, because this is embossed. So this is cowhide with the gator print on it, and the other piece in the front is gator. Come on. There you go. So this one is a much thinner leather. So back to the zero. Hey, what's going on? Glad you're glad to have a viewer for the 4th of July stream. Nothing too crazy, just cleaning up some of the edges on this wallet before I go for the market. I am working today. If you got any questions, by all means, go ahead, toss them into the chat. As I see them, I'll try to answer what I can. Come on. That is the only quote-unquote downside to this beveler. It's got such a narrow channel that it doesn't always get on the edge there. The result is nice, but it is a pain. Let's get some music rolling up in here. I'm sure there's some lo-fi that can get listened to up in this piece. Hopefully that's not too loud. Hey, what's going on? Got some more folks up here viewing. I appreciate that. If you got any questions, let me know. But long story short, I am preparing for a market today. Oh wait, wrong beveler. And if you enjoy what you're seeing, go ahead, please give me a, a like. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or requests, go ahead and let me know in the chat. I appreciate it. Let me see if I missed anything. All right. This is moving a lot. Come on, there we go. Oh, the man shaves with napalm. Bring this a little closer. And adjust. There we go. Always great to have new folks in the stream. If you got any questions, comments, or requests, go ahead and drop those in the chat. As I see them, I'll go ahead and respond. But really, I'm just prepping for a market. Prepping for a market. After this, I'm gonna burnish the edges. I think I'm gonna be lazy and use my Dremel tool. How thick is this? Oh yeah. Good to go on that. Just use, yeah. Honestly, I might just bevel it. I mean, not bevel, burnish it. Won't get me on that transition. Absolutely not. That is a touch loud. There we go. No one will see that. This will be on the edge. against. So really, this bit here, up and around. Hey, what's going on? New person in the stream, I appreciate that. If you got any questions, comments, or requests, go ahead and let me know in the chat. Keep the workstation clean. Neat station, neat mind. I don't know how true that is, but Lord knows I'm scatterbrained, so anything that can help, right? Again, if you got any questions, let me know. Hit me up in the chat. I'll answer as best as I can. What I'm doing right now is I'm about to burnish the edges. And my tokenol has just been sitting, so I want to swirl it up a bit. Looks all clumpy like yogurt, so I don't need that. That's a little bit better. So tokenol, a little goes a long way, and I'm tired of trying to get my whole hand into the jar to get some out to apply it. So I'm using the glue spreader to do the job there. Really participate and like, okay. Well, I'm glad that you've got the space and the time to comment. If you got any questions or requests, I'm all for it. And with the requests, as long as it's not expensive or time consuming, or it doesn't cause me to damage something that's already made, I'll entertain it. I say most of the time I'll do it. Sometimes a suggestion from an outside perspective is what one needs for a little bit of burst of creativity. But yeah, so with this piece here, it it's just one piece, but it will have two pockets, or two sections rather. And the only part that needs to be burnished right now is this edge, because the rest is either going to not be visible, or they have to go together first before they're burnished. That is pretty good for the first pass. Do leather work. How do you find the thinner leather? So the upside to thinner leather is that when you are making pieces, especially things like bifolds, you will keep the bulk down on your pieces. Oh yeah, I have what I refer to as mechanic hands, so I know how you feel. Plus, I did injure myself before I got out of the military. Well, I didn't do it to myself, but I got injured, and that really hindered my mobility with my dominant hand. Actually, it still does, and it did present a challenge, and oftentimes it still does. I just find a workaround. But with the thinner leathers, It's harder when you find a thinner leather that isn't firm. This one is it got a decent firmness, or what they refer to as temper. So this one is less problematic than this piece here. Let me see if I have a piece. All right. Where is it? Here we go. We'll just cut a piece off. And of course, I drop parts all over the place. All right, so this piece here, that's the same leather as this one and this one there. So you can see from the thickness, these two pieces are roughly the same thickness here and here, but this one's a lot thinner. And then just look how thin and floppy that is. So it's great in wallets to keep the bulk down for the thickness, but it is a pain in the ass to work with in that thinner leather will stretch a lot easier, and it's also harder to bevel. It's harder to bevel with one of these because something with a firm temper, something that's a little bit more sturdy, it will stay down when you push against it for beveling. But something that's much thinner, that has more give, when you're pushing against it, it's more likely to buckle. So you have to be very, very careful. It's one of those things where, as much as people say it, you can be mentally prepared for it, but you won't understand how much of a pain in the ass it is until you start working with that material. But once you understand, then it becomes a lot easier, and you can just make the appropriate workarounds for it. Like in the case of the thinner leathers like this one here, you just have to use something flat and straight along the edge, and as you go down to just prevent it from being able to buckle, and you'll be able to get a decent bevel out of it. The only other option is to, put it in place, glue it down, and then and then bevel after the whole piece, after it's already sewn together, by using either your own bevel or a sander. I've seen people add a bevel onto something by sanding. I've only ever done that with projects that had thicker leather, with a higher weight to it. It's doable. Don't recommend it unless you know what you're doing, because if you don't, it's really easy to mess up your project. Let this dry out a bit. Let me see if I missed any other comments. Oh, also, yeah, I missed your compliment there. Thank you. And you said you like my work. I appreciate that. I really do. All right. All right, so now it's coming together a lot better. And oh, totally forgot. I got to bevel. I'm not bevel, burnish this side first. Da-da-da. Because it's possible to get it done and burnished after the sewing. I'd rather do it when I have a little bit more positive control over both sides. And also so my burnisher isn't fighting for space with the other side of the wallet once it's all put together. Because once it's put together, it'll look like so. Honestly, since I'm here, might as well. Pro tip with a burnisher: or with the burnishing rather. Best bet and best results you'll get are when you establish a direction in the grain first. So what I do when I apply it, I always apply it in the same direction, and then I was about to do that, and then once it's going in the same direction, then I'll do the same thing with the burnisher, which I have off to the side here, and then I will start burnishing back and forth. So get it all going in one direction, nice and smooth first. The curves are weird. Tighter curves are harder to get. Feels like that's drying out a bit, so do do do. Then after it feels nice and smooth, then you go start going back and forth. Because what'll happen is if you just lay down the burnishing agent, no matter what you use, be it Tokonol or gum trag or anything like that, if you lay it down and then just start going back and forth, the fibers on the edge don't have a set direction yet, and it looks a little bit sloppy, and you'll be working at your burnish for a lot longer. So just get it going in any particular direction first, and get the fibers all laid down, and then commence the burnishing back and forth. And this one here, because it's thin, it's a lot more pliable than something that's a little sturdier. So you can see as I'm burnishing, it's buckling a little bit, so I have to reduce the pressure and then bring my other hand up closer to the end so that the edge stays nice and firm on the inside of the grooves there. But again, just a thing that comes with experience, and you learn by touch. Mm. And then this whole edge here gets left alone until after the stitching because it'll all be like so. I foolishly was using the same damn tool for the glue as the Tokonol. How high up am I coming? All right. Mm. And for anyone who wants to make a wallet like this, please note that this seam here, if you stitch it all the way down, it won't be able to expand very far. Now I'll explain that in a moment once I get all this lined up. Let that get a little bit of air dry for a moment. Yeah, okay, feels a bit tacky, so we're good. All right, so, and that's another thing that you want to do. If you want your edges to be lined up, best bet, get the edges first and then align the rest of the line. Don't start there, then push forward, then hope that your edges are aligned properly. Get the edges or the corners set in first. Also, don't line your edges up like this. Line your edges up inside corner in first. It's gonna sound, very strange. I guess I'll just have to do it sometime later, closer up with the camera. All right, so this here, this little bit down there. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Okay, so this bit here, if you stitch this all the way in, then the wallet won't be able to expand very much to allow for more cards or cash to be put in there. So if you're gonna make a wallet like this, you only need to stitch it from here, which is just above where this piece here, which is this flap, curves. So just above that, So say about right here down to about right there, because that will still allow for this wallet to open up and expand and allow for more cards to be put in there. If it's sewn all the way through, it's still a good wallet. It's still useful, but it will be less useful. And while we are here, I'm gonna go on ahead, measure out 1/8. I normally like to keep it already set there. Looks like it is. And there's our stitch line, good to go. And also, because you mentioned it, and I want to address it again. Oh yeah, so yeah, the buckling was a real pain. I'm okay. And what are you saying about big fingers? So I said, like I said, I said that I have mechanic hands. So I think the burnisher here is a pretty common size thing, and my hand's almost as wide as the thing here. But I got my fingers, these two fingers on my right hand crushed in an accident on board ship. So this is how wide they are, as opposed to the narrowness of a fingertip. So not only do I have bigger, strong hands, I also have nerve damage, and they're bigger and wider. And so I've had to adjust a lot of the things that I have, like the tools. I had to learn how to hold things like this while I was healing, and now I'm still teaching myself to hold things like this with a whole hand. It's it's a pain, but it is very doable. I did also get better tools, better burnishers. I keep saying burnishers, better bevelers. These are from Palo Santo, and they're incredibly ergonomic and super comfortable, really easy to use. They are very expensive so far as bevelers go. In my opinion, they are worth it if you are doing leatherwork as a serious hobby or a side hustle slash main hustle. If it's not one of those three things, keep your money in your pocket regarding something as expensive as Palo Santo. I think this one here was, I think the two and a half, and actually over 3 years ago, I bought this one, and it was, I think, $86 including shipping. I have no clue what it would be now because the prices of everything have gone up. And that's just for one. I have these three, as well as they're French skivers, and I've paid a pretty penny for all of them. But I use them a lot, and I believe that they're worth it. Music cut off on me. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna do some of the burnishing by hand on these pieces. Then I'm gonna machine stitch this one, so that will be done later. And some of the burnishing I'll be doing on my drill setup, because I have a Dremel fit onto a drill stand, and that thing has helped me out so much. There we go. The speed is great. Those pieces that fit onto it, they've helped me out a ton. Strongly recommend. If you haven't already, if you're tapping into the live and you're enjoying what you're seeing, please feel free to give me a like. If you're not enjoying it, I mean, you can give me a dislike too. That's cool, but throw me a comment or a chat so as to what you think I could improve on, so that the stream or the channel in general is pretty good. Oh no, that was that was just me bringing it up about the hands thing. I just wanted to let you know that I very much understood your struggle. Again, getting everything to all the fibers to lay down in one particular direction first. Also, Tokonole, as good as it is, it's I feel like it dries out very fast, especially because you're supposed to apply a thin layer in the first place. So I wouldn't recommend doing any longer sections of Tokonole if you can avoid it, because by the time you've properly burnished, one section, the other part that you applied the Tokonole to could 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 be dried out, so you're gonna have to use up more again. At that point, you're just wasting resources. Okay, feels like everything's laid down properly. So because I'm burnishing these, I'm not going to edge paint them. If I edge painted them, then I would just get a very fine sanding on it up to about 400 grit, and then leave it there so that I could have a surface for adhesion for the paint. But since I'm burnishing these, I'm not going to do that. I feel like that. Okay, yep, that can come off. I think this is my third coat of the Tokonole on these two sides. Well, third here, and then about to be a third on the bottom there. But let me rotate this light here. Hopefully that helps. All right. That feels really good. Over applied that, but I'll just put the extra back on the jar there. Another pro tip with the burnishing: as much as this is the groove that fits the narrowest, if you start off with that particular groove, you're almost always going to burnish the side here and the side there, and the middle won't get much of the burnish. So just start off with the wider one, and then once it's pretty well burnished, so you can see it on this both sides of the rounding there, then move down to the more narrower channel. That way you know that these sides are slicked down, the middle is higher up, and it's definitely going to get the center of that channel, so everything's going to be nice and burnished properly. These are things I learned the hard way. Much like when you're sanding something, you don't start off with 800 or 1,000 grit sandpaper, you work your way up. Same thing with the burnishing. You work your way to the narrowest channel that fits your piece. Looks like I'm going 4. Thought I was going to be good with 3, and I was wrong. There's this one guy, I want to say it's Benjamin Bott, although I might be wrong. He would get his edges looking like glass, and I was like, oh man, how's he doing that? So once he got a really, really good burnish, he would apply this mixture of Tokonole and water. He would thin it out, and his results were crazy. But he also did a lot of prep work on the edge too, more so than most people do, and truthfully more so than most people would need, because that extra time with the process adds to extra time that needs to be paid for in the product that you sell. And I didn't think, even now, I don't believe that I could sell these at the price that I sell them for and do that extra work for every piece. I'd be working at a loss or barely breaking even. Oh, that's nice. There we go. So you can see the difference there. Very stark contrast. That part was not beveled. I had to basically start from scratch. I was wondering why it was sticking up so much. There we go. That was bothersome. Yep. If you hear that little scratching sound, that's my dog having a dream of running in the park. Probably chasing all those squirrels that I don't let him chase in reality. All right, so burnished with about 4 coats, unburnished. So no joy, joy. Get all the fibers laying down. I appreciate the likes in the stream. I really do. Thank y'all very much. You could be doing literally anything on this holiday, and you are stuck with me, and I appreciate it. Normally, this process goes a little faster, actually a lot faster, but I'm talking folks through stuff, explaining my thought process and everything like that. So things are just necessarily going to take a little bit longer, but it's fine. Such is reality. Hopefully this goes quicker than the previous side. I should say the opposite side. The previous side was a lot longer. Whoa, don't drop it. There we go. Let me see if I missed any comments here real quick. I didn't get in here to ignore the chat. That's just mean. Okay, cool. Just make sure I didn't miss anybody. The next one, I'm gonna start off with the burnisher and then end with the canvas, provided it's a firm piece. If it's not, then I'm just gonna stick with the burnisher. All right, that's good. So what I was just doing right there was I was seeing which direction the fibers were going so that it would be easier to accomplish the burnish. I like to bring it towards me. That's why I flipped the piece around a couple of times to make sure that what was occurring was going to be what was most comfortable for me. This is oddly cathartic. So I did mention it before, but there's a faster way to do this. Actually, you know what? Let's just do that now. So, gonna transfer workstations real quick. All right, so don't mind the Care Bear. That is my good luck stuffed animal. It's been with me through several deployments, and I'm convinced it is my good luck charm. All right, so this obviously this is a Dremel, and then the stand here is something made by Dremel. It effectively turns this into a drill press. Really? Now is the time you want to walk past, bro? Come on, just over here. Because I moved, my dog thought it was time to go. Hey, crate. There he is, the star of the show. That's Doug. And clearly he doesn't listen because I said crate, then he just changed his position. But it's all good. He loves me. I love him. Matter of fact, no crate. Come here. Yeah, he'll listen to that immediately. Crazy. All right, so back to what I was saying. This here, it's a Dremel. Of course, you're gonna move in front of it. Just go past. Go, go. It's like a toddler, apparently. So, I have these adapters for burnishing, and they come in different sizes, but usually I'll just use one or the other because this one will fit most projects. Put it on and tighten it up so it doesn't spin. Make sure that, oh, that is loose. What happened there? No time for repairs. I'm just gonna swap it out for come on. See, now I look foolish on camera, but hey, it is what it is. This is the Lord teaching me humility. All right, give me about 25 seconds. All right, this should work. And it is not working. All right, I'm gonna need more than 25 seconds. I'll be back in about a minute. Doug, stay. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go. back up. Thank you. Okay, so Dremel tool fixing, the Jerry Rig edition. So this piece, which should be free floating and releases this, is not. So there we go. Well, now I just feel foolish. This is what I get for trying to use shortcuts. See if I can just spin this off. There we go. Put that back there. That's right, it should be on the inside. All right, so please note I'm not a licensed Dremel repair person. So don't do what I did. Thank you. There. I believe I've gotten all of the legal discrepancy things out of the way. All right. So what happened here was that this nut was loose. So when I fixed it, everything just began to spin freely. Let's try this again. Gonna leave a little bit of space though. And there we go. All right, now, sorry if I lost everybody with my crazy jerry-rigged repairs, but it worked. So there we go. Again, I'm not a licensed Dremel repair person. Don't take that as advice. All right, now, so this here with this piece attached, now instead of my burnisher and using my hand power, I use this. So obviously, you know, it's set to the lowest setting. So I'll just apply a bit of the Tokanol. And so that's much faster, you know, a lot more results for the time. Now the downside to this is if you are not careful, because this is moving so much faster, there's a lot more friction. You can burn and damage your edges if you are not being mindful of what you're doing. So with the increased speed comes a greater need for caution. You have to be far more mindful of what you're doing. And strongly recommend not ever using the highest setting. Completely not necessary. Very light pressure. Get that nice bit looking right there. Add a little bit more in there, and it's just a nice slow process. A little bit loud, but nothing too crazy. I have seen some people use a wax, something not quite beeswax, but something else different for this as a bit of a sealing. Also, I'm not against it. I haven't done it myself. I haven't felt the need to so far as the results. But hey, also sorry if this is loud. Um, I'm trying to keep this away from it so it's not overpowering, but that is one of the downsides of using the Dremel for the burnishing. You can see how shiny it's getting. Get another coat in there. I think I can get the whole thing with a good pass now, so we should be all right. Nice, clean, shiny edge. Feels really, really great. Nice and smooth. Literally nothing wrong with that. So great result and relatively fast speed. Impromptu pairs notwithstanding. Impromptu repairs notwithstanding. So there's that. So the next one I said I was gonna do, I was gonna use the burnisher first and then the canvas. So let's do that now. This nice and mixed up. Yeah, this way. Whoa, gotta readjust the camera. Sorry about that, y'all. Well, it's not really the speed. I'm just making sure that I'm going in the right direction with the fiber. But sure, I'll go slower. See, a stitching pony is good for the burnishing too, provided you have the right size piece. My stitching pony is in my bag that I use whenever I go places. Like, for instance, I take my stuff to coffee shops and various cafes or bookstores or whatnot, just so I can do my stuff, but also get out of the house, be around other human beings. Otherwise, I'd just never leave my house, which I mean is understandable because mortgage is crazy high, so you should get your money's worth out of your house. But still, yeah, you got to be around people too. That piece did not bevel either. There we go. better. I was wondering why it just kept popping up. That was really annoying. With Toconol, again, a little goes a long way. You won't need very much of it. Just use it, quick burnish, move on to the next section. Use it, burnish, next section. Easy day. If I subscribe, will you moisturize your hands on screen for me? Sure. Sure. I'm not against it. As soon as I get the alert, you subscribe. All right. It's a unique request, but I'm not above it, I guess. All right. Seems like a weird show, but hey, it's a weird world. So here we go. Coconut oil antioxidant and firming with marine seaweed. Great restraint. Ta-da. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it properly. Remove all the accoutrement. Although I do want to get credit for all of my calories burned, so I'm just going to roll the Apple Watch up a bit. Okay, so because I'm a man of my word, if you haven't already, go ahead and slide me a like. I would appreciate it. Helps out all that algorithm stuff that, let's be honest, nobody fully understands, but it controls everything. Well, yes, definitely that. And we've combated ashiness on the stream, so that's good. Pledge to be your mod. I appreciate it. I will make sure that I look for you and grant you moderator privileges. Although I think I need more subscribers to have that, but whatever, I'll figure it out. All right, so I am properly lotioned up, moisturized, no ashiness. With that, I leave you. I appreciate your willingness to provide us with some privacy. I'm greatly appreciative. And okay, yep, that one was good. So next up is this one here. I believe I already beveled this one. Yeah, I beveled that one at the beginning of the stream there. And so this one, we're gonna break out the canvas. Yep, here we go. Actually, I should have a piece already cut. Nope, can't find it. Bring that closer. Actually, get a little bit of height so you can see more. Oh, I lost everybody. No. It's all good. Hopefully they'll be back. If not, hopefully they enjoyed the stream. Da-da-da. All right, so no one needs all of this canvas for their burnishing. Just need just a bit. That's perfectly fine right there. Back in there, good to go. Well, I missed that comment. Okay, still here. Good to go. All right. Oh yeah, it's showing 0 folks, but if you're still here, that's great. Yep, this direction. And this one here, this one's my favorite, one of the ones I've done so far for the holiday, because the red and the white look like the flag waving. So I'm happy I went with that choice instead of the white and the blue. And this piece on the back is glazed alligator, as opposed to this one here, which is matte. And I just added some Resolene for some gloss, but they're finished differently. Ba-da-da-da. Again, same process, laying the fibers down. All right, so after I'm done with this one, all that's left is to sew that, and then I can take requests up until about another hour after that one's sewn up. So if anybody's got anything that they would like to see, a bifold or a vertical wallet, a card holder like this one, just let me know. If it doesn't take too long, then I can take requests. More lotion. Let me get some more gloss on this one, and then I will see what I can do about the lotion. All right. Da-da. Whoa, almost lost my light there. And also, thank you very much for being concerned about the hydration of my hands. It's the summertime, so everybody needs to have all the protection that they can get. Although, full disclosure, I don't really use sunscreen. I've got SPF 900, so that's less of an issue for me. It's not that it's a non issue. Anybody can get skin issues, but, you know, less of one. That beveling did not take at all. That's better. All right. Now that's got a fair amount of the gloss on there. Let me move some stuff around real quick. So if anyone here has ever done any sort of woodwork, and you know, the higher grit that you go with the sandpaper, the smoother the finish. It's a similar concept with using the canvas. You're getting a buff, but with a very, very high grit, you know, so to speak. So usually you get a really, really high gloss. But alligator is a little bit weird so far as how it burnishes. So I don't suspect that I'll have the exact same result as if this were all cowhide. But still, we get a good one. And it's not so much about the pressure so much as it is closing the pores with the high grit. Yes and no. If it's cowhide, it's not really that big a deal for me. I haven't had any issues. But then again, the highest grit of actual sandpaper I've used on leather is 1,000, and that's only after I've stepped up from 220 to 400 to 800 and to 1,000. By that time, the pores aren't really an issue at all. At that point, it's just adding an extra polish. But also on the edges, it's not that much of a concern because it's expected that the edges are going to either be glossy or they'll be painted. So you're not really losing much by doing that. Us in the eyes of the customer anyway. You're not losing much. Those are the. Oh, so the purpose of the cream isn't to absorb. It's a burnishing agent. It's a polishing agent. It's supposed to sit on the top and gain more and more gloss. It's like floor wax. Some of it's going to seep in, but eventually you're just going to have layers on top of layers that add to the gloss. Now, if this were leather conditioner, I would definitely be worried about that because that's supposed to get into the leather to help it stay moisturized or to protect it from water damage or something like that. And they feel nicer too. Thank you very much. Hold on, I do got to grab something real quick though. All right. Feels good. Looks pretty good. I am gonna go and use some wax real quick, just to see how that turns out. Be back in about 20 seconds. What's up, Doug? Back up, back up. And I'm back. Hopefully that was about 20 seconds and I wasn't a liar. I couldn't find the small piece of wax, so I had to find the huge piece that I broke it off of. More sharp objects. Doug, I swear if you start chewing on my leather in my shop, we're gonna have problems. There we go. Oh yeah, this is it's actually multiple things in one. So it's called a head knife or a round knife depending on who you talk to. Actually, let me get that wax off of the blade there. It doesn't need to be there. So you've got this large cutting area that you can use for a lot of things. What I tend to use it for is if I want to cut a long straight line, I'll just set it down and then rock it forward. But these pointed edges here actually help for when I'm making precise cuts, especially on thicker pieces of leather, because if I were to use, say, one of my regular blades, where are we at? Ah, they're all in the bag. But say one of those, or even this one to an extent, on a thicker piece, I'd be making several passes and potentially damaging the smaller, slimmer blades. This one's got a really good thickness. So if I'm cutting into something thicker, I can just set and press down, easy day, or just push through. This end here is also bladed, so if I need to, I can just lay down a straight edge and then place the blade alongside it and then just pull and cut long straight lines. So this is really useful. And then if I need to thin out a piece on the side, I can just use this as a skiver and then, hold on, for instance. So this piece here is about yay thick. If I needed to thin it out on the edge, I can just shave it. Boom. You can see how much thinner it is here on the edge than it was right there. So it's multiple different types of knives in one piece. Not very useful on thinner, less stiff leather, but still very useful in general. Yeah, I should have cut a bigger chunk, but it's all good. So, Gingy Glow, do I know you from somewhere? Because you called me your sonar bear, and basically nobody knows that I did sonar. I don't believe I've ever put that out on the channel. All right, so while we're waiting on that, so the purpose of the wax is to give it a bit of a coat and shine. So after this, I won't be adding any more toconol. I will maybe have one or two more layers of wax. So it's same principle as shining your boots or your shoes, whatever it is that you've got. I could also use the Dremel machine on this too. However, with the speed and the rotation, I could potentially melt off the wax and have it stick to the piece in clumps, or stick to the piece in the that's in the Dremel. Again, a thing I learned the hard way. Look out, it's a bucket of lagging paste. See, this narrows it down, but honestly not by much, because there have been several lagging paste incidents in my naval career. All right, that feels really good, actually. But if you don't want to put personal information in the chat, I fully understand. I guess I'll just have to do some internet sleuthing and figure it out. Okay, that feels really good. That should be pleasant to whoever picks up the edges and wants to feel it around. Okay, that makes a whole lot more sense now. An Arnold accent. Oh my goodness. All right. Actually, let me keep the patriotic stuff in frame. So this piece here, I'm gonna go ahead and stitch up. I don't know if I can fit the camera in over by the sewing machine, but I'll give it a shot. So I do have to say, I actually prefer hand stitching because of how it looks. but it is undeniable how much faster machine stitching is, and I can get product out to customers much faster and therefore at a better and more competitive price if I just use the machine. Truthfully, very few people have specifically requested hand stitching. So if most customers are perfectly fine with it and they benefit from the price, then I'm okay with it too. So these here are stitching guides to use the machine, the dial so it's slower. Um, I don't slow the machine down so that it looks better. I have the machine going at a slow speed so that there's no loss of control. The first time that I set the machine up and I used it, when I stepped all the way down, it went really fast. Thankfully, I was just practicing and dialing it in. But I looked up how to control the speed, and so now this here, if I can rotate it, this is the fastest the machine will go. So I know it'll never get out of control for me. And done and done. And just like that, yep. So now all I've got to do is burn these threads on the ends there and then clean up the edge, and we're good to go. This one's ready to go to whichever buyer likes the color and the design on it. And people seem to like this one a lot, so I think this one will sell. Come on. There we go. All these adjustments. There we go. So sometimes you got to do things the old school way just so that you don't lose the skill, which is why still in favor very much of hand stitching and things like that. So sometimes to true up an edge, you've got to do like this here. Let me find something sturdy. Hopefully this will help a bit. So doing like that, flat surface, flat edge. So now I'm gonna break out the burnisher here, or should be the beveler here. Do you ever use fences like in woodworking to true up the sides? Um, no, honestly, whenever I'm truing up the sides, I'm either doing it like this method here, where I just have the sandpaper on a flat surface and I hold it vertical, or I'll use the Dremel, and the piece that I initially took off was a sandpaper piece, and I'll hold it flush against that and then make sure I go up and down and it trues up the edges. Or I'll use my Japanese skiver, which I don't have right now, it's in my bag, it's a long, wide, flat blade. So, and then I'll have it up against the piece on the edge, and then I'll make sure that it comes straight down. Then I'll also have a nice true edge. So either of those ways will get you a trued up edge in leather work. Either the flat sanding block, the uh, sanding machine, as long as you make sure that your hands don't go off at an angle, or the Japanese skiver. The All three of those are really effective for a trued up edge. Planning on a belt sander eventually. Um, Honestly, no. What I have now works just fine, and I don't need to. I don't need extra space. That right there, that Dremel sander is on the same table as my larger sewing machine that I use for belts and holsters and knife sheaths. So, a larger sander would mean either loss of workspace here, or I'd lose floor real estate in my workshop, and maybe I have room, but honestly, not really. The workshop is just fine enough. Now, if I were to ever extend my patio area, or not extend, but enclose it, get it wired up, basically turn it into a large room, well, then maybe. But honestly, that's something that I would do only if I got married and had kids, and that is something that I just don't see happening anytime soon. So, not worth it. No. Well, truthfully, yeah. Now that I think about it, I'm not working on projects that are so big that I would need a belt sander. But if I were, then I would definitely get one, especially because it's for work, so it's tax deductible. That is nice looking and glossy. See if I can get some more out of it with the canvas before I wax it. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Not a. No one's a fan of taxes. I'd love to keep all the money that I make. However, I want to run this legitimate business, so I got to send off my info to Uncle Sam and or Auntie Sam and Daddy Texas for all of the stuff there. Texas is really weird because Texas doesn't take income tax. However, if you're a business, and I have a business, the business has to pay a tax, which is understandable, but it's also frustrating because the business is just me. So for every other LLC, Corp, S Corp, anything like that out there, I would get it that those entities would be paying tax, but it's just me. And Texas doesn't take income tax, so I'm just like, hey man, what's going on here? All right, so I like that result there. So you can see the layers, the pieces, but you also see the gloss. No, I don't have an LLC. Truthfully, I know that's the standard advice is to get an LLC, but I'm not making anything that would be used for something necessary for that. I'm just making wallets and things like that. If I were making belts or harnesses or things that people would use for safety, absolutely I'd get an LLC for that. But I just can't see myself being anyone coming after me legally for a wallet of any sort. Not much liability. Yeah, that's the only reason. But and honestly, I haven't had any requests for anything like that, so I'm not really worried about it. But later on, I will. Where is my? There we go. Woo! I love this thing so much. So before I was using this thing called the Thread Zapper, which, don't get me wrong, is a great product. However, it runs off of a single AA battery, and it doesn't meter its power at all. I'll come right back. Nope, can't find it. It's probably somewhere under something. But the Thread Zapper, as soon as you put the, oh yeah, they will. You charge premium rate for set. Well, people will definitely pay primo rates for those materials. And I was actually surprised at the cost of them because the materials to make it are pretty affordable, provided you know what you're doing. And actually, let me bring this closer. So the thread zap is for burning the ends of your threads after you're done stitching, be it with clothes or with leather, whatever the case might be. And the thread zapper is great, or rather, the thread zapper 2 is great because it only takes a single AA battery. The leads are a great size, so you don't have to. You have a lot of control. The replacement tips are really cheap, so if they, just wear out or they break or something like that, it's easy to replace it. But you could tell when the battery was running out because it wouldn't get very hot, and you could tell when the battery was really fresh because it would get hot really fast, and the ends of the unit would glow crazy hot, bright red, and it would burn through batteries really quickly. And it was just that there was no control in the power unit at all. It just used up the whatever was in the battery really quickly, and it just basically burned bright, but not for very long. So I was running through AA batteries like nobody's business because this device just didn't have any way to measure itself. But this one here, it's rechargeable, so that helps a whole lot. And the tip, it gets hot. If it doesn't have anything to burn, it will get bright red. But the battery lasts far longer in this than those AA batteries were lasting in the Thread Zapper 2. So Thread Zapper 2, not a bad tool to have, but the Etkokai, much better, much better product, way more reliable. All right, so this one's done. So that concludes today's stuff. Actually, no, I got about an hour before I have to really do anything. So if anyone's still watching, if you got any requests, anything you want to see, let me know. I can make another one of these or one of these bad boys. One of the card holders. Let me know what you guys want to see. But in the meantime, I'm gonna clean up all this stuff off of my counter. Ah, I should have timed myself. All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate everything. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'm going to go ahead and steal a quick workout, then start prepping to take everything so that I can set up before everybody and then have a bunch of downtime. Hopefully, make some sales from anybody who shows up to the market early. And the sooner that I sell, this and the rest of my stuff, the sooner I can come back and make sure nobody's setting off fireworks in the neighborhood and scaring my dog, or at the very least, making sure I'm here with them while they do it. All right. Thank y'all very much for coming through, sticking around for the live stream. Appreciate it so much. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead, leave them in the comments section. If you liked what you saw, appreciate it. Subscribe and tune in, because often on my live streams, what I make, I'll give something away. So who doesn't like free stuff, right? All right, I'm Jay Renard, and I'm out. Peace.